So this is not a film review, per se. I just got back from seeing Captain Marvel, and this isn't me detailing out my opinion on the film as a contribution to cinema, or whatever. It's more me just taking 5 seconds, plus a few minutes, to shoot down any of these, like, controversial takes about how this film is, like, pushing some feminist agenda, or that it's, like, anti-men, or that it's trying to alienate men, or denigrate them, or demean them, or downplay their importance. I don't know what the fuck men think, but I know that there's been some controversy around this film for that reason, and I just want to say, I just got back from it, and if that's something you're concerned with, don't be, because it's not at all like there was literally only, like, one line that could have possibly been construed as being, like, a wink wink, nudge nudge kind of thing to the toxic masculinity culture, and that was just, like, you should smile more kind of thing. And other than that, it was completely devoid of anything that could be taken as some kind of a message film in any way other than being, like, promoting good and promoting human decency and believing in yourself and listening to your heart and things like that. I mean, the whole it's like trying to stop war, from happening, not picking a side, just trying to stop the hate and unify things, like, that's the message. The message wasn't that women rule, men suck kind of thing, so don't think it's like that. I'm honestly just baffled by the whole thing. You may have, this controversy may have just passed you by, you didn't hear a thing about it, good, it's mainly just online, negative pushback from the trolls of the underworld, coming out to say that they hate women who are strong and powerful, who can beat them in a fight. They really hate that. But the Rotten Tomatoes, which is a site that aggregates critics' reviews, had to stop allowing audiences to give their opinion of Captain Marvel because people who hate the idea of a female being empowered gave it like 50-something thousand negative reviews before the film had even come out. So they had skewed the system to where it was representative. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but I don't know who these men are. It's like, I have known a lot of men in my life. All of my best friends growing up were mainly of the male persuasion, or my closest ones, and I have had a wonderful dad who has always been very supportive of women, and I've never experienced, like, blatant misogyny or have felt that someone thought I was lesser than because I was a girl. Even when I played basketball, there would always be dudes in the gyms, and they would just be, like, impressed that I could play with them, like, it wasn't something like, oh, we don't want to play with her because she's a girl. It's just like, prove yourself, and then they'd be like, girls got handled. And I did. I was very good at this one specific aspect of basketball. And so the idea that someone would, like, there are that many negative, like, chauvinistic, it's a little jarring, right? I mean, it's a little scary. I mean, I absolutely believe that these people exist, and I believe that those who are out in the world trying to have an upwards trajectory in their job and workplace, in particular those people who are trying to make their way up the ladder and get promotions and stuff, I'm sure you guys have a lot of experience with that kind of internalized, institutionalized misogyny. I get it. But, like, I live in a house that isn't like that. It's mainly all women. So I don't have to deal with that very much. But all I can imagine is that those people just don't have any actual healthy relationship with women, where they've ever seen, like, a woman exist outside of, like, a clear and defined gender stereotype or a role, like a mother. You can be like a mother, you can be a wife, you can be a sister, you can be... It's really the only thing I can guess. Because in this film, you have a lead character who is a woman, although it's not spoken about very often, who is also a hero. And then you have another woman who is her friend and is a mother and a soldier. Two things. It's very difficult, I know. It's a lot to balance. And they are successful at being both. And that's very impressive, apparently, and very upsetting to some men who think absolutely not. There's no way that this blonde chick can be stronger than the men. Yeah, she can, especially because it's a comic book. It's not even real. Men are like the parts of the film where they did kind of focus on the lead character being doubted or put down because she was a girl are in little montages, like flashbacks to her youth, and they are so like minor that I'd forgotten that they were even in the film. Like, like her doing basic training. If I'm wrong about what that's called, I'm sorry. I don't care about the military, but like, doing the rope climbing or whatever, and the people are doubting that she can do it or laughing at her because she's the only girl. She's like a tomboy who wants to do like more traditionally masculine things, and people doubt her, but it never stopped her from doing any of those things. She just, kept going on and kept doing it, and it's not a real setback for her. It's not really a part of her journey. And you could tell that they put those little vignettes in because they wanted to pay some attention to the fact that these are the hardships or ordeals that she's overcome. But really, it was like literally any girl has done something in their life that was not traditionally like feminine, like we've all done something. Like at one point wearing shorts probably would have been like a big fuck you to the patriarchy. So we all kind of understand like that, we've all, or maybe just me, maybe it's just the lesbians out there who've had that experience, I don't know. But most everything I did was kind of like what boys do, including date women. But on the whole, her being a girl is like the smallest part of the film. It's not even important, but it is because it pisses the men off and it gives girls someone to look up. I mean, there's no two ways around it. Exposure is always the best way to move society forward. Men are afraid of things that, or not just men, but people are afraid of things that they don't understand or haven't seen before, or that they feel threatened by, or what have you. And I think there are a lot of men out there who are very, very fragile and very insecure and very just terrified of the idea that women are going to come take away their power. And what the fuck? I mean, I can't with that. But if they're this upset about a comic book character being a woman and being a captain and being really powerful, then what does that say about them? What does that say about their strength and their ability to be a leader? So the more movies that we have that feature a woman in a prominent leading role, where she is take charge and she is doing her thing, and there are men who are her subordinates and who are helping her instead of the other way around, women who do not need saving, women who are doing the saving. And that doesn't have to mean as a superhero. That can just mean in general, like just going through life. Like they are the ones who are leading the way, paving the way, doing the heavy lifting. All of that doesn't have to mean literally. But it'll get easier. I mean, men will, these particular men, like I said, I don't know these people in real life, but there are a lot of them online, and they are very loud and very vocal and very whiny. They call us shrill. Well, they're whiny. I would rather be shrill than whiny. But they're gonna get used to it. The very last thing, one of the other controversies, and this is something that like the right really pounced upon, and let me be more specific. The right-wing men. I think women don't give a fuck. And clearly the general public doesn't care either because it made a boatload of money. The highest grossing opening weekend of any female-led film of all time. So that's good. It's a good start. But it was some comments. Conservatives don't like Brie Larson because she is a social justice warrior, which is, by the way, the nicest compliment anyone can give somebody who is fighting for equality and for human rights. I mean, that's not an insult, my friends. That means we're doing the right thing. But they hate her for that, for taking a stance and having opinions. Women are always encouraged to have opinions as long as they align with the man standing next to them. That is something that I've noticed quite a bit. And Brie doesn't do that. She is very smart and very astute and curious and capable. And she's got no problems with saying exactly how she feels. And if that, alienates people, so be it. She's using her platform in the manner in which she chooses. And it's there's nothing negative about what she's saying. She's being like a real life Captain Marvel, and what could be better? But she made a comment about how saying that she didn't necessarily care what a 45-year-old white man thinks about Captain Marvel, that it's not for them. People misconstrued this to mean that she doesn't want them to see it. That's not what she said. It's just, I understand what she's saying because I've said it many times. There are sometimes, predominantly through history, movies have been made for a certain demographic, and that has been white men. It doesn't mean that other people cannot watch that. Obviously, that is not the case. People of color have been watching white films forever. Children watch movies. Women watch these movies. But they are made for white adult men. And even movies about women, even movies that are made by men with women in them, usually are filmed through the male gaze. Maybe this doesn't make sense to these men who are so used to having things made for them that they can't quite understand how this movie wasn't made for them. Whereas all the rest of us are like, we've never had that luxury. What is that like? Looks like it sucks because it makes you so myopic that you can't understand why someone else would want to be the lead role, made with women behind the cameras and stuff. So yeah, men are more than welcome to go see Captain Marvel, and they have. In fact, they did a breakdown of polling audiences, and over 50%, it was a majority men who went and saw this film. So I don't know what to say. I mean, the internet trolls lost. What a shame. But yes, Captain Marvel is made for the little girls out there who have never had very many female superheroes to look up to. When I was growing up, I dressed up as Batman for Halloween. My sister did have some girl outfits, but we just dressed like the boys. I had Darth Vader outfit, and I dressed like a cowboy. It's not a big deal. But if we had had a Wonder Woman or a Captain Marvel who didn't have to wear a skirt, that would have been so fucking rad to have seen ourselves represented on screen. It would have been neat.